is the power of mindset. That's so important to me because your brain, regardless of your age, can be rewired. One of the ways to do that is through habit stacking, the power of already doing it. Your brain loves efficiency, and I think I mentioned that in another post. And that's why sometimes it can seem so difficult to move forward because we go back to old habits. Habit stacking really works because it attaches a new behavior to something that you already do. So there's not really a lot of extra willpower that's required. And so instead of asking, how do I change everything? I ask, what can I do that to what I already do, what already exists, that will be seen as more efficient for me or something that is desired. So 2 tiny tweaks that make a big impact are micro habits. Those help to bypass willpower fatigue, and they activate the brain's reward system. And that helps to create momentum instead of resistance. Small does not mean insignificant. It means that it's repeatable. And repeatable is often what rewires the brain. Personal note, I actually started my workout that way, where many years ago I started walking on the treadmill, and then I added to that so that it wasn't one big, huge jump in. It's where I started and then what I wanted to add to it for what I wanted out of my exercise routine. And it becomes a domino effect. One small action leads naturally to the next of a goal that you have decided is what outcome you want. As these new behaviors continue to repeat, that neuroplasticity, big word, but actually means you're rewiring the neural connections in your brain, and those start to strengthen. And then emotional regulation starts to improve. The change begins to feel easier, not harder. This is neuroplasticity in motion. It's just one more step to what your goal is. So to build on that positive energy stack, just some possible examples. If you're a morning person and you drink coffee, tea, or protein shake, or whatever your morning routine is, most people have at least one routine in the morning. To include something that will help prime your brain and yourself and your emotions for positivity before you allow stress to enter the day. That means different things for different people. Some choose to have a moment of gratitude and think about what their expectation for the day would bring. But in that one moment of gratitude, sometimes I'm just thrilled that it's a morning I'm able to actually sit and sip coffee as opposed to drinking it on the run. And so that's just one area that I always work on, to be able to sit for at least 10 to 15 minutes and have my cup of coffee. Sometimes that doesn't work out well, and the coffee is during work. But it's what I try, and that's what I try to build off of. Then at midday, when we start to feel drained, might be crashing a little bit, maybe had some different stressors come through. Before you open that next email or take that next call or enter that next meeting, have one slow breath. Breathing actually helps to interrupt stress loops and shifts your nervous system back to real time. I've tried that. I continue to work on that. That is not one of the easier things for me because I'm used to going 100 miles an hour. So I have noticed that if I can take a step back, it's not a long necessarily step back, and just take a deep breath, that helps to regulate, re-regulate, deregulate, shift my nervous system. In the evening, right before you go to bed, let's just say when you're brushing your teeth, time for a brief reflection. This helps to support emotional processing and will also help with restorative sleep by reinforcing calm neural patterns. I've had difficulty sleeping for as long as I can remember because that's when my brain decides to start processing everything, whether it be from the day or a week ago. And so that's been very helpful for me to have a routine at that last 5 to 10 minutes before I get into the bed. And I actually have a routine with a mask that works really well. But it's very important, nevertheless, to have something to help bring you down and that brief reflection of how the day went. And try to focus on a positive aspect of the day. Just one positive aspect of the day. How does this help from overwhelm to consistent calm? And consistency will take time. I've worked on this for decades and I am still working on it. It's important to me. I want to have a consistent, calm presence. People don't change necessarily by doing more. I found that I change by doing differently. So, simple stacks, habit stacks of chronic overwhelm helps with steadier emotional regulation, burnout to sustainable energy, reactivity to intentional response. And the reason why that is because you have helped to rewire your normal response, if it's not already in those states, which some people it is, and high five, kudos to y'all, that's awesome. But for those of us that it's not, it helps to get our brains and our emotions and our nervous system in a state of sustainability and calmness and intentionality. When your brain patterns change, you'll see that relationships will shift, work improves, and energy becomes more consistent. Your personal change, my personal change, is not isolated. It spreads to others. It spreads to those that you love. Now, the common challenges from stacking can include forgetting, overcomplicating, and expecting fast results. I've had a challenge with all three of these. I get so used to what I have done forever: eat at my desk, eat on the run, eat in the car when I'm going to the next place, making it more, trying to bring in more information, trying to read everything that I can about it, which then often leads to very conflicting ideas. Then I am like, which one do I want to listen to? And I'm not one of the more patient people that I know. And so I like fast results. I have learned that my best and sustainable results have been through consistency and not looking for something fast. When there's an understanding with neuroplasticity, it helps to re-engage instead of quitting. It's not about a failure or a win. It's more about a re-engagement of this worked well. This is what I forgot to do. This is how it made me feel, and this is what I want to do moving forward. So if I could offer just a little energy toolkit as we start 2026, design your own stack. Look at and identify what's your existing routines, emotional triggers, moments of stress or transition. There will always be some form of one of these in your life that does change, and you can build stacks that work with your brain, habit stacks that work with your brain, not against it. Leveraging technology. We live in an amazing time now where we have many apps and habits to provide visual reinforcement, immediate feedback, consistency cues that your brain responds to. And again, it goes back to what your brain responds to and finding out what works for you and not. Your brain is always adapting. Positive energy is not something that you can just summon up. It's something you train. As we continue in a very fast-paced world, 2026 seems to be on the trajectory to just be more fast-paced and move even faster and quicker. And so adaptability is the real advantage. Lasting change doesn't come from saying the right words. It comes from teaching your brain new patterns, one small choice at a time. It's been very helpful for me. It is not a fast process, but it has been a sustainable process. I had lots of health issues from my 20s into my mid 40s. At 50, I feel better than I've felt in many decades. And I attribute this to being one of the reasons that I've been able to sustain that. And regardless of any of that, I continued with my habit stacking so that I could reach my end goal. And sometimes I wasn't even sure what the end goal was. I just knew I wanted to feel better. And so I did one new thing at a time. So I hope this is enjoyable, and I hope to see you soon. Please like and subscribe for more content from me. And I would love to hear from anyone who has habit stacking, where they started, how they feel about it, and any challenges that you want to share. Please feel free in the comment section below. And